The night was pitch black, the air thick with tension as Jacob white-knuckled the steering wheel, his eyes straining to see through the torrent of rain pounding the windshield. He was utterly spent after a grueling business trip in the city, longing to be back home with his beloved wife Sarah and their young son Michael. But his car had other plans, the engine giving a final miserable sputter before conking out entirely, leaving Jacob stranded on the desolate country road. Dread coiled in Jacob's gut as he checked the fuel gauge, sitting stubbornly on empty despite topping it off before leaving the city. He scrambled for his phone, praying for a signal, but the infernal device showed not even a bar. They were truly in the middle of nowhere, with no help in sight. Jacob's only option was to venture out into the punishing storm, squinting through the deluge with his flashlight's meager beam leading the way. An indeterminable time later, the ghostly light revealed a massive, decaying house, looming ahead between the barren trees, like a dread sentinel. Equal parts relieved and apprehensive, Jacob hurried towards the decrepit structure, searching desperately for any sign of occupants. Each detail seemed more horrifying than the last. Gaping black windows, a dilapidated roof caved in, crumbling walls streaked with God knows what. Still, he had no choice but to push on, hesitantly cracking open the weather-beaten front door. The musty, stale odor of abandonment wafted out. "Hello?" he called out warily. "Is anyone home? I'm in need of assistance." Only silence answered his queries, making the hairs prickle on the back of Jacob's neck. He swallowed thickly and ventured inside, trailing his light over the derelict interior. Every surface was thick with dust and grime, wallpaper peeling away in strips. His boots crunched on scattered debris, the sharp tang of mold assailing his nostrils. Steeling his resolve, Jacob pressed on, ears pricked for any sound of human presence as he checked each room methodically. The uneasy feeling intensified with every step, each new twist and turn seemingly designed to unhinge his psyche. More than once he stumbled across deeply unsettling scenes. A shattered family portrait, lying face down in a dried pool of some dark, viscous liquid. Long faded reddish-brown stains marring the floorboards underfoot that churned Jacob's stomach with grim speculation. What nightmarish events had transpired here? And where were the former inhabitants? His unease grew steadily heavier with each passing moment. Like an electrical storm, the couch, blanketed in its shroud of dust and decay, appeared innocuous enough at first glance, until the flashlight beam swung lazily across the cushion and revealed the headless corpse lying half-reclined against the arm. Jacob's hand clapped over his mouth just in time to stifle the scream bubbling up from his chest, his entire body seizing up in sheer, palpable terror. The woman's eyes were still hideously open, her final expression etched across her lifeless features. Jacob barely registered his trembling fingers losing their grip on the flashlight, the heavy cylinder clattering to the floor and casting grotesque shadows dancing across the walls. His wild, panicked gaze swung to the low table, and there it sat, staring sightlessly back at him, the woman's severed head, her face twisted in pure agony. A crumpled note lay tangled in gore, "I'm sorry," scrawled across it. The soft, childlike giggling drifting from behind him made his blood freeze in his veins. He slowly turned to find a tiny figure in the corner, wreathed in gloom yet unmistakably clutching something to its chest. Jacob could feel those hollow, malevolent eyes boring into him as the object slipped from its grip. A mutilated doll, its matted stuffing seeping out through gashes in the fabric. "Welcome." The ragged, inhuman voice wormed into Jacob's brain. "Welcome to hell." It giggled again, beckoning. "Come play with us, Jacob." It knew his name. The absurdity warred with the terror clogging his throat as he backpedaled away, his foot kicking his fallen phone. One bar, a final tendril of hope. But a door creaked open, heavy tread of footsteps growing louder as the twisted voice sang, "Here I come, ready or not." The phone was useless. Jacob hurled it away with a scream of despair, spinning to face the entity that lurched into view. A decayed child in a soiled gown, empty sockets oozing black ichor from its lolling perpetual leer. In its hand, a wicked hunting knife glinted dully. "No, God, no," Jacob sobbed, hands raised placatingly as he backed away. "Please, I'm begging you." The thing's ruined lips stretched wide in a grotesque parody of a grin. "But we are your family now," it declared with sickening warmth. "We'll play forever and ever." It pounced, blade flashing, as Jacob's final scream echoed endlessly, drowned only by the deafening thunderclap as the storm raged heedlessly on. For more screams, subscribe now.